Hey guys, it's Bobby. So I wanted to make a video about one of my favorite hobbies, I guess you could call it, or like interests. And I don't really get to talk about it much to other people because they don't really watch the show. But I want to do an episode centered around Doctor Who. And yeah, that's about it. A lot of my friends actually don't watch the show, and it makes me a little sad because Doctor Who it's a really good show. And a lot of them like Sherlock, and I'm like, I mean, Sherlock is really good, but Doctor Who is really good as well, and there's a lot more frequent episodes than Sherlock. Doctor Who is just 10 times more bigger than Sherlock is, because Sherlock just takes place in one time period, like at one time and place, and like two main characters with like other characters. But Doctor Who, every episode is something different, and it's just out there wherever you want to go. And so I want to just talk a little bit about that and combine this kind of with the Doctor Who tag, because apparently that's a thing, and I'm going to be using questions from that and just a lot of other questions that I found from the internet. So first of all, I'm going to explain what the show is actually about. Now, if I had to describe Doctor Who to someone, I would say that it is about a man, kind of a man, an alien. Yeah, it's about an alien, and he's a Time Lord, and that's just like the name of his race. And he travels through time and space inside a time machine that is called a TARDIS. TARDIS is an acronym, and it stands for Time and Relative Dimension in Space. And it's shaped like a British police box. It's a British show, so it's shaped like a British police box. And there's a story behind that. His TARDIS is actually supposed to change figures based on like what he wants it to look like, but his chameleon effect is stuck on his TARDIS, so it always looks like a police box. So that's why it's always just known as the police box instead of like the TARDIS or whatever. People are like, oh yeah, that's the blue police box, right? Yeah, that's what that is. It's his time machine that is just kind of stuck. Now, the way that Doctor Who gets some of its new characters is Time Lords have this ability that once they are entered, they have the ability to take on a new, like, person type thing. It's called regenerating. And basically what happens is, if I get shot and I'm a Time Lord, I can like choose to get a new body and I just turn into a different person, but I'm still the same person. Basically, you get a new body, but you still remember all the stuff from your old body, but you have like different likes. So you have like different taste buds, you like different genre of music, you like doing different things, and all of these types of different things. So like you have different fashion sense. Like for example, every single Doctor has a different clothing style that they like. 11, he liked bow ties. The 12th Doctor, he's like sunglasses, and what else did he like? Oh, and guitar. He liked playing guitar. And 9th had like a leather jacket. One of the older ones from the classic show, he had like just giant scarf and stuff. So there's just lots of different things that make each Doctor unique, but it's still the same person. Now, something that really makes the show really fantastic is that they don't just include the Doctor, but they also could include what they call companions. So on his like different adventures, he'll meet different people, and normally the people are from Earth at whatever time period like the show is airing. So if he meets someone in the year, well, while the show is running in the year like 2016, then that person will ideally be from the year 2016, but he will pick them up and allow them to come on the TARDIS with him if he is a fan of them. And then they travel the world with him. There's a dog barking, and that's annoying, but we're gonna keep rolling. But yeah, anyway, so he picks people up and just allows people to come and travel with him. And that's kind of what makes the show so great, because you can have different companions that merge and interact differently with the Doctor, and so it makes each season kind of more interesting because you get to see different people, but you still have the same Doctor until he regenerates. Now, what makes the show really amazing is since the Doctor has his TARDIS, they can literally go anywhere in time and space. And they do. In the show, characters have gone to many different planets and different time periods, from like Victorian age all the way everywhere. They've gone all the way to the end of the Earth. They've actually done the end of the Earth twice, which is strange now that I'm thinking about it. One of the Doctors, the 10th Doctor, my favorite, has described time as wibbly wobbly, timey wimey thing. That's what time is. And very true, because it's not linear like he says in that specific episode. It's not really linear. People imagine it in a line, but really it's just all kind of jumbled up, which is why he said wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, because it's basically a very accurate description. And if you think of it as in a straight line, you get very lost in the show very quickly, especially during Matt Smith's little like episode, not episode, his like seasons. The show is actually running backwards, kind of, in a way. It's weird. It gets very weird. There's a lot of different like story plots all running at the same time. There's this thing about like his death, kind of, but then there's also this thing about another character named River Song, and like she's working backwards, and it's so weird, but it's so cool, and it's really hard to explain, but just know that it's really awesome. And if you want to know like what's happening, you should probably like start from the beginning or get someone to explain it to you, because this video is not really gonna do a very good job of explaining all the story plots of Doctor Who, because that would take ages. But you know, yeah, it's confusing, but it's really good. Alright, so now that I've kind of said what Doctor Who is and told a little about how I got started with it, I'm gonna jump to the tag with the questions, and we'll go from there. You'll see a little bit more about what I like about it. So yeah. Alright, question 1. When and why did you start watching Doctor Who, and what made you become a fan of it? Well, I started Doctor Who about 2.5 years ago, I think it was. I think it was about, wait, this is 2016. 2015 I started 12th grade. I started it in the 10th grade, I believe. Yes, I started it the summer of 10th grade, I think. And I started it without knowing that they were about to start, like the next year they were going to start a new season with Peter Capaldi, and I got really excited, and so I was watching leisurely, because like I said, I started at season 9 with Christopher Eccleston, and there are easily 100 episodes of Doctor Who, of like New Who right now, and so I had a lot to catch up on. Like, they're on season, this is about to be season 10, I believe, of the new season. Yeah, when they come back next year, it will be season 10. So when I started, there were 7 seasons. I can't count. But yeah, there were 7 seasons when I was starting, and there were so many episodes. Like, each season has about 20-something episodes. About 20. I think Eccleston only got like 12-ish or something. He only had 1 season. But David Tennant had 3 seasons. Matt Smith had 3 seasons, I think. So there was a lot of Doctor Who to catch up on. And so I started the summer of 10th grade, and then I just kept watching and watching and watching. Then when I realized they were going to start a new season with Peter Capaldi, who's the new guy now, I was like, oh, maybe I should like kick it up a notch so I can like be right there, like with all the other people watching it as the episodes come out. So I hurried up and finished throughout my 11th grade year, and then I made it, and they aired the first episode with Capaldi right when, like almost like right when I finished. Like I had like maybe 2 episodes to go, so I just hurried up and watched those 2 episodes, and then I started watching with Capaldi, and it was great because I finally was like a part of the show like, while it was happening, and I wasn't like 2 years behind. So that was great. But yeah, and what I became a fan of it just when I saw, well, first I was it was weird because the first episode of New Who is, it's got like mannequins as the villains, and they're being like controlled or whatever, and they like come to life. It's a really bad episode to bring back a show that's been gone for like 20 years, but I stuck with it, and the effects still weren't like, it was like in the middle. The effects were like better than they were in like the 19 whatevers, but they still weren't as good as they could be. But I was like, I'm gonna give this show a chance because I know that the effects will get better as I'm watching, because I wasn't watching in 2005, so I knew that as the show progressed, I mean, the years would catch up with where I was now, and the visual effects would get better. And in fact, they did. It was all the episodes like had very good like concepts and stuff, minus like the mannequin thing. But you know, it got better than that. But they were all just really, they grabbed your attention and they made you think a lot, and it took you away and made you just think about what else could be out there in like this like fictional world. And it made it really cool, and you always like were caught up in like the action of whatever he was doing, and like whatever dangers he was in, whatever he's companion he's in, you were always just on the edge of your seat waiting for it to happen because you know he's a doctor. He's gonna make it out, but you gotta figure out how. Question number 2, what are your favorite quotes? Okay, each doctor has like a specific phrase that he has while he's like on the, like what that actor is on the show. And so the ninth doctor back in 2005, his was really. My dad's cutting some good in the middle of my video. Anyways, as I was saying, the ninth doctor, his like phrase was fantastic, and then 10th doctor's was Alonzi, 11th doctor's was Geronimo, and 12th doctor, he kind of doesn't have, he doesn't really have one. He doesn't have much of one. I mean, if you had to give him one, it would be shut up. That's kind of rude. But it's just something that he says a lot, but he doesn't really have like something that he says like in the action. But I think my favorite catchphrase is probably Alonzi from the 10th Doctor. He's my favorite, so kind of biased. David Tennant. But the wibbly wobbly timey wimey thing is fun. Oh, so okay, there's an episode in Doctor Who, and it takes place like at Stonehenge, and it's all the villains in the show have conspired against the Doctor, and they've like decided on this point in time and all these things, and they've like set the trap basically. And he's out at Stonehenge, and he has no clue what's going on, but he knows that for some reason they want to get like under Stonehenge, like that's where their like plot takes like their plan or whatever is like unfolding, but he doesn't understand what's happening, so he's trying to protect whatever is like underground because he doesn't know what it is yet. And so he comes out from underground with a megaphone, and he basically just starts yelling at all the aliens like floating around like in like their spaceships and all that. And basically he's like, remember, every day I ever stop you, basically don't try nothing, and if any of y'all are gonna try something, I suggest that you let someone else try first. And it's great because it shows how much power he has over like the other villains. They don't know that he doesn't know what's about to happen, and he has no clue that they are conspiring against him in this way. He just thinks that they want whatever's underground, but he's still trying to figure out a plan for whatever like is about to happen, and he has no clue, but he's still threatening people and like trying to fight for whatever is right. In this case, he hasn't figured that out yet, but he's just always like trying to do right, and this shows how brave he tries to be even when he has no clue what's going on. So I like that moment a lot as well, even though it's not really like a quote. Like that whole paragraph thing, speech, is just fantastic. Favorite doctors and companions. Okay. I'm surprised this question wasn't first, which is weird. My favorite doctor is the 10th Doctor, David Tennant, and it's weird because when I started watching the show originally, it was with Eccleston, and I thought that Eccleston was going to be my all-time favorite, and I was like, there's nobody that's ever going to replace Eccleston. But Eccleston only had like one season, and then I saw David Tennant, and I was like, oh, this guy's pretty cool. And then I like really liked David Tennant a lot and the way he played the character. And then I was like, oh, it was really sad when he left too. He had like 3 seasons, and his last lines as the Doctor were, I don't want to go, and he was like on the verge of tears, and it was great. And then he regenerates into the next guy. And it's like, oh, that's like really sad. That's like one of the saddest moments, and like I've ever seen on TV. It was like, it had you right here. So yeah, David Tennant is definitely my favorite. My favorite companions, I don't know, there's a lot of companions, like in the new parts. All of them are really good. I like Donna Noble. She is very like feisty, and she had a very sad ending. She had a very sad ending. I won't spoil her ending or whatever, but if you've seen Doctor Who, she had a very sad ending, and that was kind of messed up. She's not dead, but she had a sad ending. Who else is good? Rose is good. I like Rose. Rose is really good. I like she's the original. Like she started in 2005 when the show came back, and she was just a great person to like introduce the show. Although her boyfriend Mickey wasn't as good. Like he's kind of annoying. Him and the Doctor didn't really get along as much. Kind of didn't. But yeah, it was a weird relationship. It wasn't really as good. And the Pawns, they were good. There was a married couple that he traveled with, or they were about to get married, and then they got married like while they were on the. It was weird. Like he took them back so they could get married, and then they kept traveling. It was great. But yeah, there's a lot of good people. There's so many. Alright, so I think those were all the questions that I'm gonna cover. I mean, there's more, but they're not as good. And I kind of talked about the answers that I would have given already in this very long episode. This episode, man, this video is gonna be so long. Just me long-windedly talking about Doctor Who and people not even knowing what it is. But I tried to explain it, so I hope you at least kind of get some of what I'm talking about. And if not, if only Doctor Who fans are watching, then hey, hi, you're here. That's all that matters. So I think that's gonna be it for this video. Make sure you find me on social media, and you can just hit me up and start talking about Doctor Who. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at BobbyKearns0109. I'm on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/BobbyKearns, and you can find me on my website, BobbyKearnsJr.com. And yeah, just hit me up and start having a little conversation about Doctor Who. I will know that you've seen this video because I don't really talk about Doctor Who very much unless it's on television. I don't talk about it on social media unless it's like on television. And so if you hit me up and start sparking up a conversation, I'll be like, oh, hey, you saw my video. So yeah, do that. But other than that, I think I'm gonna go. I think that's it. So yeah, remember, God loves you, and so do I. I'll see you next time.